Hey everyone, Kelsey here with Roadside Dental Marketing. Did you know that 9 out of 10 consumers who do a local search on their smartphone or their personal device will end up calling or visiting a location related to that search within that same day? This was according to recent research done by Nectify. So, what we're going to cover today is the 5 most important aspects of optimizing your Google business listing or Google business profile, as it's now called, for your dental practice. There's tons of different areas that you can focus on with your Google business profile, but we're going to touch on the 5 easiest ways to get the most visibility and the fastest traction for your practice. And I'm going to show you how to do this properly by actually going into a listing that we've worked on. So the first thing that we're going to do is look at the category that your listing is optimized for. So if we click into Edit Profile, it's going to load this in, and you'll notice the business category. The number one thing that we find when working with other practices is other agencies will try to add in a ton of different listings. So maybe they've got a dental clinic, they've got teeth whitening service, they've got dental implants provider, they've got cosmetic dentist, and all these different categories, thinking that the more they add, the more visibility they're going to get. But in reality, it's actually the opposite. The more categories you add, the more you're muddying the waters, and Google's not able to understand really your primary function. So our recommendation is to have 2 or at the most 3 categories listed. So if you are a family, a general practitioner, then dentist would be the main category. If you offer some cosmetic work, or if that's a focus of your practice, then of course you can add in cosmetic dentist as well. Try to limit that though, like 2 to 3 at the most. Whatever makes sense for your practice. If you are primarily a dental implants provider, well then that should be the first category or your primary category. And then you can have cosmetic dentist maybe as a secondary category. That would be the number one thing that you're going to look at. The second thing that we're going to look at is adding frequently asked questions. This is huge, and it's often overlooked by a lot of other agencies when they're doing optimizations for their clients. And really, it's just a missed opportunity. And I'm going to say why it's a missed opportunity. First, you can formulate and add the questions that you want. So something that maybe you answer day to day on the front lines, something that your office manager, something that your hygienist is consistently asking and answering in the office, why not put those online and then have them as individualized keywords? So for example, if we click on Q&A, you can actually just ask your own question. So what is TMJ disorder? What is smile design? Am I a candidate? So you're actually able to introduce high value, high traffic, highly targeted keywords by yourself and put them onto Google, and then you can actually answer your own question. So I would recommend at a minimum putting in 10 frequently asked questions. You can do a lot more. We've got some practices that have 20, 30, 40 frequently asked questions. And when you're putting in the responses, what that's going to do is it adds more content and more fodder for Google to be able to understand your practice. So what services do you actually offer? How does it benefit a patient? And so forth. And all of that is going to translate into having a higher authority and also being able to rank higher locally for those services. Our third that we're going to look at is actually adding services themselves. Again, a lot of practices will put in the categories, but then they don't add the specific services that go with that category. And this does not show up on the front end. For example, if you look at the listing here on the right-hand side, you won't see those services, but they are indexed by Google, and it again adds the additional value of keywords. So if you click on Edit Services, you'll be able to see that under dentist or under that primary category, you'll have all of those different services that you can offer. And then you can add in 300 characters or words of that description. So again, you're adding keywords, you're adding content that will increase the relevancy and increase the authority of your practice in comparison with your competitors who most likely are not doing that. So what you're trying to do is look for the quick wins, look for the fastest way to separate yourself from your competition and elevate your practice to the next level. The fourth way that we're going to look at is the description. Most practices do have a description, but what we notice when we're doing audits for some of our practices and for some of our clients that are looking to switch agencies is that the description that they have is very small or it's unoptimized. So in this description profile area, you'll notice you have 750 words that you're able to use, or 750 characters. Try to maximize the usage. Think of this as a billboard, or think of it as this advertising space. If you're only taking up maybe a small portion of it, maybe a couple lines, you're leaving a ton of real estate on the board that other practices could then use to steal your positioning. So incorporate into the description your brand name, where you're physically located, right? So a Brentwood dental office, or wherever city or location that you're physically located in, put that in there, and then try to cover some of the main services or categories of treatments that you offer to your patients. So for example, on this one, you could say that, we believe in the power of a healthy and beautiful smile. We utilize the latest advancements. You're talking about technology, right? So whether you need a new dentist, someone that's new to the area, checkups, whitening, implants, you're covering some of the services that your practice offers, and then conveniently located in Brentwood. So now you're telling what the difference is. So really, you're trying to maximize your visibility, maximize the potential for ranking, and use as much space as possible. So look at yours when you get online, open it up, go to Google Business, look at your listing, and if you're not utilizing or maximizing the value or the area of your description, then either ask your in-house marketing person that you work with or ask your agency that you work with to rewrite that description so that you're utilizing the maximum space possible, but also incorporating as many potential keywords as possible so that you have a chance to rank. Our last area that we're going to look at, again, these are just the top 5 or the 5 quickest ways that you can use your Google Business Profile to increase your visibility. The last one is where your service areas are. This is a huge missed opportunity that we see in a lot of practices. Is you'll put in your business location, so that's where your physical office is, but for a lot of the practices that we work with, they're wanting to draw patients or draw customers from surrounding towns, surrounding neighborhoods, communities, or zip codes where they don't physically have a presence. So what we can do here is Google will actually allow you to add up to 20 different locations that you serve. And you want to add in as many as you can. Obviously, don't spam it. Don't, try to just stuff in those locations. But if you're realistically drawing patients from a 15 or a 20-mile radius around your practice, then add in as many of those communities or zip codes as you can possibly add in. And what that's going to do is as Google starts to crawl this business listing and start to understand not only where your patients come from, but what you offer, you're now opening up the potential for your business listing to be able to show up as a dentist in their area or as a dentist that offers a specific service in that community, even though you don't physically live there or have an established brick and mortar practice in that area. That is it. Those are the 5 top ones. What I want to do next is show you the quick results. So this next client that we worked on, focusing specifically on cosmetic dentist and then their area. This was in the span of just 1 month. So we took over their listing. We started working very hands-on with this practice. They're actually very, very savvy when it comes to optimizations as well. So we were able to work hand in hand with our team and their in-house marketing director and look at the results just within 1 month of local rankings. And this is within a 7-mile radius around that practice. And you can see the dramatic increase in the visibility for that search term. So put into practice those quick 5 wins, and you yourself will see that same thing happen when you start comparing where you're showing up in Google Map Packs.